I kidding? I was born in a tent. This is just my handy dandy prop. Somebody else is helping me out. Well, actually, yes, I was born in a tent. In the past little while, I've had so many comments about this statement, and they range from, "That's awesome," to, "That's BS. Diyet was not born in a tent." I was. It was the 70s. My parents were hippies. They were traditionalists. They believed in living off the land. They believed in hard work, self-sufficiency. They believed in the old ways. And they obviously thought that I was better off coming into this world with the help of hands that really loved me rather than in a hospital room. For that decision, I am now eternally grateful. But I didn't always feel that way. I can tell you that being a young child growing up in a small rural First Nation community, when you have dreams of being on a stage and performing, they don't always go hand in hand. Actually, they seem so far apart, you have no idea how you'll ever get them to fit together. So that was me. I had this great big dream. I had no idea how to achieve it when my world consisted of burwash. I think that's when I started to practice reinventing myself, because I thought that I needed to be something better, something way far from where I actually came from. But it's funny, how the universe has a way of kicking you in the butt when you try to be someone or something that you're not. A good example is on my 7th birthday, I decided that I was going to throw the best birthday party in Burwash history, and I was going to be the star. And everybody was going to be looking at me. I had the outfit, I had the awesome hat, I even had makeup. And I was so excited for it because all eyes were going to be on me. But guess who got bit by a spider? Back. Guess who got bit by a spider the night before her birthday? And I tell you, everyone was looking at me. They were looking at my fat, crusty, swollen eyes. I don't look very happy in that picture. That should have been my first lesson in humility, but it wasn't. That spider fueled me for the rest of my life because I was determined to achieve my dream. And, I spent a lot of my youth actually not feeling very proud of coming from the bush. I was a kid. I wanted everybody to like me. I was really shy. I stuttered, I mumbled, and I had a hard time getting words out, believe it or not. So I thought the next best thing was for me to find a way to stand out and be unique and to be different. When I was about 11 or 12, I was riding home on the school bus one day, and all the kids in the bus were singing this nursery rhyme. And we were singing it in really funny voices, all taking turns, being different characters. And one of the kids pointed at me and said, "Diyet, you're the fat lady." And I went, "Pussycat, pussycat, where have you been? I've been to London to visit the Queen." I was amazed. I had a voice. I had a really big voice. And I was, in that very moment, determined for the rest of my life to this point. Because I knew right then and there what I wanted to do to achieve my dream. I was going to sing. And I really got my chance when I was 13. I moved to Vancouver with my brother to live with our dad. I was going to go to high school, and I was going to study music. Well, I walked into the high school, and then I almost died. Because I walked into a high school of 1,200 kids, and I had just come from a community of 90 people. If I ever was the bush kid, I was the bush kid right then and there. And I didn't know if I could cope. It was such a shocker. Everything up to that point in my life, that's me coping, by the way, at 13. That's for real. I didn't know if I was going to be able to manage, but I did because I went to my first music lesson. And when I was at my lesson, I was solidified in my decision to be where I was and to sing and to study music. And I sang throughout high school. I tell you, I tried everything to be unique as well in high school. The kids knew me as Diyet the singer, but I also had very many faces. See, I was Diyet the tree hugger singer. This was a phase. I was Diyet the disco singer, and this is not a joke. I actually wore this stuff. I was also Diyet the grunge singer, but I don't have any pictures from this era because I was very melancholy. And I also was Diyet the homemade clothes opera singer, but that was so not a good look. But all throughout those years, I never was just Diyet from Burwash. I still couldn't see how I could take my roots and my history and bridge that with my dreams. Don't get me wrong, though, I was very proud to be First Nation person. When I graduated, I refused to wear the cap and gown. Instead, I wore my traditional skin dress that I'd made with the help of my mom and my cousin Robin. And if there was ever a moment that I wanted to stand out, well, I sure did here. But I am really proud to say that the very next year, there were saris in that auditorium, there were kimonos and other traditional elements. I did go on to realize my dream of studying music in a university. And for the first few months, it was great. I realized that I was actually studying with some very, very serious singers. You see, they have these little rooms in music school. There are no windows. They smell really bad. There's usually a lot of sound coming from them. They're called practice rooms. You see, I was meant to spend a lot of time there and practice, but I was so intimidated. So I didn't. What did Diyet do instead? Well, I got rid of my music school hair. I lost the long dresses and the flowing scarves. And I became Diyet, the rave opera singer. Really though, deep down, I wanted to be like those other kids. I wanted to be in the practice room, belting it out, and I wanted to be sweating in there and getting better at my craft, which was my voice. But I didn't think the new me would approve. It wasn't until the end of my degree when I decided to, pick up my stuff and actually get down to work and make up for lost time. But first, I just had to take a little side trip to Europe for inspiration. And I did find inspiration in the form of a short, bleached blonde, punk rock Dutch drummer named Robert, who thought I was Diane from America. But whatever, because we were in love. And we got married. And then fast forward 7 very blissful years. Until one day, when we were living in Vancouver, I woke up and I realized that I wasn't living my dream. I was a songwriter, yes, but I wasn't singing for me. So we talked it over, and it kind of went like this. Robert, I want to go home. And he's like, Burwash? I'm like, yep. Okay. So we packed up and we moved home. And so started my latest reinvention. Her name is Diyet. She lives in Burwash. She sets a fish net in winter. She eats dry meat like candy. She's slightly chubby, but she's working on that. She's a mom to 2 beautiful children. She's the wife to a now gray-haired, but still punk rock drummer named Robert. She's had to face up to a lot of truths about her own history. She still gets sad when she sees her people hurt one another. She's had to learn to forgive, not only others, but most importantly, herself. She's a songwriter now, a real one, I think. And she's a real singer now. And she will gladly tell anyone that she's from the bush. And by God, she really loves her life. She is who she is, and that's me. And I'd like to take a moment right now to share with all of you. You see, changing is hard because it takes courage to risk failing. And it's hard to be confident because you have to work at it and practice. And sometimes you actually really need a really big kick in the butt to get you going. So I'd like to take this moment now to introduce my bandmates. Robert, my lovely husband. And Bob, my dear friend. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is the first time I have ever played an instrument on stage. This song is called Fearless Heart. I wrote it about my home.